Right. Cool. Brendan, Dave, finally,
We on.
we're on.
We're on. Technical problems out of the way.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, so I think, yeah, this probably will be potentially our first episode of the Cowbell.
The
And
cowbell, mate.
We need the ding a ding a ding a ding a ding.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do have the bell.
mate, that's not a cowbell.
That's so good.
Probably,
We need to get a proper cowbell if we're going to go all in, Kelvin, with this.
I know.
We need a
It's a
proper
bit
cowbell.
small, right? Yeah,
I'll get us a proper cowbell, mate. Something out of the French Alps.
Well, this is
It's a journey. It's a journey.
That's
if
right.
you hear this this bell, I think you're gonna run faster. This is actually a bear bell.
Oh, a bear bell.
Yeah, yeah, actually bought it in Japan. Yeah, so if we hear this bell, you better run fast, like.
We'll come back to the cowbell a bit later on, but Brennan, Kelvin dragged me in last week because he goes, "Oh, I want to chat to you, Dave." And now look at us, we're hosting a podcast. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, sounds
It
good.
moves quick. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I guess I just want to recap. Like, I think this idea of cowbell really always been in my mind for the probably last 6 months around. I think last 6 months I've been talking to a lot of people, like a lot of extraordinary people that they are sort of like everyday runner, but they have done a lot of extraordinary things in their life. So during that conversation, I actually thought that like it would be great to share the story. So that's sort of like this idea come about, like really having the cowbell, talking to someone who have done extraordinary things and try to inspire other people. And yeah, so Brendan, you're definitely one of them. And yeah, so it'll be the
Thanks,
first
mate.
one. Obviously, actually, Dave is the first one. Like Dave is the extraordinary people. Like just and then now we have you, Brendan. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the opportunity, guys, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing the cowbell unfold in the future, and just stoked to be a part of it. And that's what trail running is all about for me, to meet some like-minded, awesome people like yourselves. So I'm excited to be episode 1, I guess.
Things have definitely taken off for you, mate. I mean, you've got your own podcast as well. What's happening there?
Own podcasts. I've done a couple, not me personally,
Okay.
but I've done a couple over the time with a few others, which has been cool. So it's always nice to share your story here and there. But yeah, I've had I guess, look back on the year of trail running. It's been a good year, and just looking forward to meeting people and also experiencing new trail, and that's why I love the sport. So yeah, it's been a great year.
Brendan, it's listening and doing, getting a little bit more background about yourself. Obviously, you've come a long way from playing footy to now being a considered. Well, what was the last interview that I just heard you describe you as, like one of our highly ranked ultra trail runners here in Australia right now. And that's proof in that I'm looking at your ITRA ratings, and you've definitely put some performances up there. So tell us a little bit about your journey. Obviously, it's been well documented, but I guess that's why we're here, is to hear more about your journey and where you've come from in footy, and now how you've become a trail runner.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. And I'm actually unaware of how many points I actually got, to be honest.
I'll tell you at the end.
Yeah, cool. No, I appreciate that. But yeah, I guess going back, yeah, like you said, I was life, my footy in Australian rules football. That was my life. I played, growing up as a kid, just running around the backyard with my little brother, and well, big brother actually, he's older, but just fell in love with football, and just loved running around and socialising in the sport. And as that continued, I played at a high level in the WAFL competition for South Fremantle Footy Club. So that was pretty much my life as a teenager and up to mid-20s, and was loving that in that space, wanting to win a premiership, and that was just a big goal of mine, to be a part of this family club that I was in. And but then unfortunately got ripped with a massive concussion injury, that I got swung tackle, my head smashed on the ground, and pretty much felt like a massive explosion to the brain. It was quite intense, and but at the time, being super competitive and didn't want to lose my spot in the team, I decided to keep it within myself and just try and push through it, because concussion probably wasn't spoken about too much back then, and as we know now, it's pretty well known in the media, and the awareness around it now which is really good for the sport. But back then, it was probably toughen up kind of mentality, and that was something that I did, and played the next week with a few symptoms like dizziness, blurred vision, and a bit of headaches. And I just thought, if I get through this game, surely 2 weeks of recovery, I'll be okay. And after that game, I was pretty much bedridden, like the next day, getting out of bed, and it kind of escalated from there. I had, I guess, second impact syndrome, where I got a big concussion and my brain was still inflamed from the knock, and a couple of little knocks after that, which happened, just took my brain to heal a lot longer, and I ended up having vestibular disorder within the inner ear. It took a long time to actually get to this point where to actually diagnose the injury, because I was just taking it week by week, thinking, oh yeah, surely next week I'll get better, because that's in the concussion world, usually it's 1 week or 2 weeks and you're better. It got to 6, got to 8 weeks, and I feel like I'm going backwards here. So it was a rocky road. Like I was still probably trying to push through the injury, and I felt I was just going backwards, and then it felt like it was like a bit of mental health started to kick in, and then a concussion injury, and then I started to get a bit of anxiety from the whole experience, and I was resting, I was not looking at screens much, and I got told to sit in a dark room, and I just don't think those things are working for me, and yeah, it just got pretty rocky. So I had to step away from football, because I tried coming back the next season, and the first game of the season, I felt pretty good. I just got a knock to the shoulder, and all my symptoms started coming back after like having 6 months of rest without contact, and that's when it was like, right, alarm bells now. Like, this is almost like, it's ruining my life, really, like losing my identity as a person, and couldn't socialise, couldn't go to shopping centres because the sensitivity to the lights, and pretty much just out of my body, hey, and like lost all my senses, couldn't really like feel the air, like just smell the air, and just be like just a functional human, really. So yeah, like mental health impacted me big time. Like I was pretty I actually it turned into a pretty good positive in the end, but during this time, like, I definitely was had these suicidal thoughts that I just wanted to pretty much call it quits, to be honest, guys. And I'm pretty open to that, because I did do some public speaking in this space, and I just want to be vulnerable, that everyone goes through some tough times, and you can get out of them, and lucky enough that I had the right support around me, and I finally got on the right track. I had to do some brain training, cognitive exercises. So it was, I linked up with a few American concussion specialists that were probably a bit more advanced in the space at the time. And I remember I had to, so what really was happening, I had vestibular disorder in the inner ear. So if my eyes were looking left, my brain thought I was looking right. So it was just all completely out of whack. So I had to kind of rewire my brain to get back to kind of normality, I guess. So I had to get my heart rate up to a certain point on a spin bike, and once I got that heart rate up, I had to jump off the bike and then count, like, I made these like numbers and alphabet all mixed in on paper, and I had to like count the alphabet in order, and the numbers, and I actually got to a point where I counted the alphabet backwards. I learned that along the way, which is a bit of a party trick. So, and then ticking bows out of newspaper, and I had to do that like an hour a day. And I just like I after a year like of not having no guidance, when I found that like recovery pathway, I just locked in and done that every day religiously for like, would have been about just under a year. Just really cracking in. I felt the progression, and I started to lift my heart rate more, and I'm going, I feel like I'm getting back, because during that time I couldn't run, because when I got my heart rate up to a certain point, that's when all my symptoms started to kick in. So we just had to find that threshold point where it was just under where my symptoms didn't trigger, and then I'll start using my mind and my cognitive skills, I guess, to improve my thinking and my decision making under fatigue. And So after 4 weeks, we may lift up to 2 beats per minute, 152, 154, and slowly gradual until I finally got to be able to run. So
were you doing this on your own, or was this that there was a South Fremantle Footy Club helping you out, or is this was just all like you totally parked footy and just moved on your own to your own recovery in this stage?
The first 6 months I was in and out of football, and I was trying to get back into the team, and had like a few weeks off here and there. And then the footy club had some doctors in the space that were helping me out during the time, and it seems was getting on the treadmill and doing some tests here and there, but the concussion tests and but nothing really vestibular, which I had. So that was kind of my own journey after that. During the time, the footy club were great. They were supportive and really backed me in. So, but after that, they probably got to an end point. It was like, all right, what else can we do? There's not much research in space. Like, it was a bit unknown. It was a bit unknown, to be honest. During that time in 2017, it was, I think. And that's when I come back the next year, and got that first knock in round 1. That's when I went on my own journey of, I started going on social media and talking to American doctors in America, and had some interview chats with them over the phone, and they guided me to a vestibular doctor in Perth, actually. And then I found the right specialist in my own hometown, which was really lucky. And then he guided me onto this, brain training program, which it took way too long for me to reach that point. Like, that's what I was, for anyone going forward, I hope whoever gets a concussion, they don't have to wait a whole year like I did to find the right path. Hopefully these days it's with awareness and education, it might take 2 weeks to get on that, rather than, and through awareness as well. If I didn't play footy the next week, and I was still, to be honest, a young fellow, like making silly decisions and still drinking alcohol during that time. If I proactively, and that was just unawareness and lack of awareness in the space. So that's why my injury probably lasted as long as it did, in a way. So, I did find some good support around me, by the end of it.
I mean, part of the reason I asked that is obviously you've come from that team mentality. You've come from that with all that support around you, and then all of a sudden something like this happens to you, and that support. But then, as you just highlighted, your own mental health, your own anxiety around that. Did you have a team behind you then? Were there people around you then, or were you dealing that all on your own?
Yeah, to be honest, back then, I was in a space for probably half a year where I kept everything within myself and didn't put my hand up and said I was okay. I just thought, this is my mentality. I was like, no, I was kind of suffering, but I was kind of just like, didn't want to own up and really be vulnerable, and just kind of like, I'll be all right, just tough it out in that space. And then there was a friend actually who, from the footy club, who got a concussion as well, and he was going through the same stuff. And it was hard because no one could really relate, because no one could understand the actual feeling. And I had a friend, Chris Luff, his name is, from South Fremantle Footy Club as well. He actually went through the same stuff with me, kind of through the similar time as well. Then we actually connected in the space together and really had a shoulder to lean on. So I was very grateful I did during that time. When I did start to open up a bit more, I had some good support around me. And then we actually, when we did get better, we actually created a foundation at the time called In Between the Ears, which is we just started raising awareness in the space and started delivering our story, and just some awareness around concussion in sport and the schools as well. So it was all really positive towards the end. So,
did you see any psychologists or mental health practitioner during that period?
Nah, I didn't. Hey, it was just again, lack of awareness and probably just almost just trying to be like, this is the awareness that I'm trying to. That's at the time in 2017, in that mind frame of trying to be a tough man, and I'm not, my life's not that bad. I can push through this. Hopefully, I'll just one day get through it. And didn't really at that time put my hand up and go, I really need help. And so yeah, to answer your question, no, I didn't. And but like that was all part of my journey during that time. Yeah.
And then you mentioned in another interview there that you went through that period then, and it is hard because you've been in around that team mentality. You're trying to be tough. It's like, you know, and I remember back in the days when I was playing rugby, same thing, you know, concussion, or you want to keep playing. It's like, I'll shake it off or whatever it might be. But sometimes within mental health, as we know now, you know, you can't just shake it off. But you mentioned in an interview there that you had like a little birdie on your shoulder. I mean, describe that and where did you think that voice was coming from that said, hey, I've got to pull myself out of this?
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember being constantly in this, just like real numb. And I just thought like that, and I just got used to that, being in the space for that long, over a long period of time, you just get used to it. And it's just, you just kind of, it was just like an acceptance to my reality at the time. And then like, yeah, I just had this like, I guess, light bulb moment, like with a bit of confidence, actually, probably through that time where I was doing those brain training exercises. I just started to like try and test new things, and I just changed my diet a little bit. I went plant-based during that time, and that just made me feel a little bit better, because I just like felt like my body felt really cleansed in that way of eating for me. And then I just started to drink a little bit more water, and then I started to gain confidence with running and since with the heart rate stuff, and I just got this like little confidence boost. And then yeah, I guess like, just to answer your question about the little birdie on my shoulder, when I was like really at the bottom of the dump, like, yeah, I just had that strong faith that I'll be okay. And just one day at a time. And it was just, I guess, I look back and that was a lot of growth for me as a person, to stay resilient and just push through those tough times and lean on others. And then it's just, I look back and I use it as a blessing, because I can share my story with other young fellas playing sport. And yeah, so yeah, it's been a journey.
And then when was the move from WA or from Sydney or wherever you were at the time to out in Alice Springs?
Yeah, in the desert. So so like when I recovered, well, when I did, my symptoms healed from the concussion and I was kind of back, but I stopped playing footy. I was a bit like, all right, what's next? You know, I was still like twiddling my thumbs, and I was doing concussion public speaking at the time, and I went to I did a talk with a foundation called Clontarf. It's the Aboriginal foundation that supports the young men through their schooling. And I remember doing a concussion talk at their college, and I was just like, wow, I just love hanging out with this, connecting with Indigenous mob. And I had this little calling, I guess, to throw your name out there and try and get a job in the space. So I was lucky enough to work for Clontarf, and at the time they actually said, look, we don't have any roles in Perth. And I was like, oh, bugger. I wasn't too keen to move, you know. I was pretty comfy in Perth, as Perth is. And they said, oh, we've got like a couple. And a week later, I actually come back, and I was like, maybe I'm kind of keen. I started thinking about it again. And they gave me 3 kind of areas to work remotely if I wanted to. And there was just this big dot in the middle of Australia for some reason. I was like, I want to go there. That's literally how I got over there. So I just it was a complete just winged it and just said, right, I don't know anything about this place. Like I've never heard much about Alice Springs, but I really want to work with Aboriginal kids and just have a new lease of life. And I just trusted that intuition in my gut, and I was like, right, this is the right timing. And yeah, went over there in 2022, just literally with my little backpack, and just went over there. And I remember flying on the plane and just looking at the ocean, just going, oh no, this is the last time I'm going to see the ocean. Because I've just grown up around the water my whole life. So I was like, all right, this is going to be different. And I thought like Alice Springs, you call it the Red Centre, and I thought it was flat and red. And I was flying in there, and it was absolutely like mountain ranges, like, and I was like, whoa, this is sick. Like, never even thought, I've never even heard of this, and got there and just absolutely fell in love with the place. And that's when I found a love for trail running, with the magical Larapinta out in the West Monster.
It's magical.
That's how I got into trail running. Just like went to Alice Springs and just like felt really connected to the earth out there. And for me, mentally, I think my brain was just so chaotic for a couple of years, going through concussion and mental health. It was a really time to empty the mind through like a moving meditation out and like hiking or just being out in the bush. And it just really just like healed me within, spiritually and mentally, like emotionally. It was, and that's just like the core reason why I like trail running is just so impactful for me. And I just want to share that with others as well. Tackle the sport that we do, guys. So
that's cool. And how so you sort of just start running Larapinta Trail, like, did you join any club or any park run over there?
It was kind of funny because like I didn't know trail running was a thing out there, and I was like, wow, this is how cool is this? There's heaps of hiking like, places, and I was just out on my own for like I reckon like a good half the year. Like I was just like hiking by myself and doing a few little runs, and then and I was on Strava, and then like I think a few local trail runners from Strava like just see me running these weird 30Ks by myself, and like, who's this guy? And then they kind of like had a trail running club, and since then like there was some cool like, and I just met so many amazing humans in that space, and I was so like blessed, grateful to meet some amazing people out in Alice Springs, who I look up to completely, and inspired me to where I am today in the sport, I guess. So it was like kind of a solo journey for a bit, and then but then again, once I heard about the West Oaks Monster, that's when I was like, wow, cool, all right, there's a 65-kilometer trail run here, like let's give it a crack. Like I haven't ran that far before, and I was deciding whether to do the 25 kilometers, and then the next jump was 65. So that was a bit of a jump, but once I finished that, I was like, whoa, how cool is this sport? Like it was so tough but amazing. And then it just escalated from there through like we had a trail running group called Friday Fellas. All the fellas hang out on a Friday morning, and just a good space to like have some good chats and get a run in before you start the day on a Friday. And then there was the Backyard Ultra, and then we just started doing camping trips and getting out in a Larapinta and doing some big days out there, and just like really connecting out on the trail with some good people. So it was a really wholesome experience out there for sure.
You must like the heat and the flies, mate.
Yeah, the heat. Yeah, the heat. It's tough. It's tough. But yeah, I guess I was a tradie growing up, so I was always out in the heat. So I was always sweaty, and I like sweating it out. And I don't mind it. The flies weren't too bad, to be honest.
Because you're running, right?
Yeah, because you're running.
That's because I was out there about a year and a half ago, and it must have just been the time of year. I did go out for an early morning run on the beginning, from the start of the telly, and went out a little bit. And then I was out early in the morning because I thought I got to beat the heat. But then I did a big drive, and I went out and went along the Larapinta, and I was going to go up Zion, and it was middle of the day, and it was hot as, and the flies were next level. Like I made the silly mistake of trying to make a sandwich, and I literally pulled a loaf of bread out and put the cheese down, and before I knew it, I had more flies on the cheese than I had. And it was just a rookie error, a big rookie error. So there was no way. I was not just the heat. I was prepared for that, but I just couldn't have. I couldn't have done it with the flies. Like they were just so bad. And I had the neck gaiter, I had the buff out, and I literally had it over my mouth and up here, and I had my sunnies on, and I had my hat on, and
wow.
Even when I jumped in a couple of the swimming holes, they were still like they were just on you. So anyway,
it's hectic. Yeah. I reckon I got in my eyelid once. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how that happened.
Well, that's the thing. You put your sunnies on and they get down inside, and it's just like irritating. So you're still there now, though. No, you're not there.
Nah. So I was there for 2.5 years, and I've been back in Perth for 6 months. Just good to be back with family and along the ocean, and I'm pretty lucky. Like that place will forever be home for me. So like, it wouldn't surprise me. I'll probably be back one day. But it's great to have two homes, Perth and Alice. But it's good to be back in Perth. I love being home, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my life. So yeah.
And what's the Perth trail scene like? Do you have the Friday fellas in Perth there?
I think it's called the Weekend Warriors here.
The Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, amazing again.
Sound a little bit more chilled in Alice Springs. The Warriors sound a bit serious, whereas the fellas sound a little bit laid back.
Yeah, a bit more laid back in Alice. That's the vibe out there. But no, again, there's some cool. Yeah, I've starting to connect with some really cool people in Perth as well. Shane Johnson's one of them. He's a ripper. He's got his own trail running event called the Transcend here, and so I'm excited to potentially get around that potentially next year, and yeah, love to early days, but I'd love to keep connecting. We do a Thursday running group together actually with Shane's group, and some really cool people here as well that I'm starting to really connect with. So I'm looking forward to a pretty fun 2025 in Perth.
I was just going to ask though. So from Alice, where you fell in love with trail running, and it reinvigorated you, and it centered you, and obviously the work that you were doing with the Indigenous populations out there, and but then where did you then realise, oh, actually, I'm not too bad at this thing? In putting one foot in front, putting one foot in front of the other. When did you work that out, and when did you then start to realise you give things a bit of a nudge? And obviously you've made that Westmac Monster 65 distance your own in taking that out earlier this year. So, yeah, when did you really start figuring that out?
Yeah, it's a good question actually. Probably when I went to the BTU in Brizzy and finished a podium on the 100K. Probably last year in 2023 when I was like, oh yeah, actually, like I was just like happy to finish 100Ks, and then when it's actually started finishing the podium, I'm like, whoa, like it was just so out of my kind of memory, I guess. There was no intentions to kind of win any race or anything. So like I guess probably halfway through 2023, and then had a really good training block in 2024, and then to break my own course record again this year at the Westmax. That's when probably like, all right, let's like keep building and trying to get the best out of myself in the space. So that BTU one was probably a big highlight for me to gain confidence in the space. So yeah.
And do you think because a lot of ultra running, like I think a lot of people said, it's like 90% is your mind and 10% is your body, right? And I think, do you think like what you have gone through in the last couple of years, like that really help you, like really, I don't know how to describe it, toughen up your mind to sort of like prepare for you to endure the such a long ultra race, like?
Yes, I think so, definitely. And also, I think being involved in the footy club for so long, like I've always been that kind of. I never was the most talented kind of player, but I always thought I had to work the hardest. So I guess like I'd always give my 110 best effort in anything that I do. So I kind of like translated all that energy into trail running. But yeah, I think definitely going through all the kind of battles a few years back through concussion definitely equipped me that I can I guess put through like those tough moments, I guess, because I think like I probably didn't touch on this too much, but I got into meditation quite a bit when I was going through concussion, and I feel like when I'm running, I'm trying to practice meditating while I'm running as well, so I'm not like getting attached to like too many like negative thoughts or more positive. So like I think the more you're in this space, I think like when you're ultra running, you kind of like, all right, I've been here before. Like through experience, you can kind of get through it. And I'm a pretty positive, kind of laid back, kind of funny, just a laid back dude. So if anything, I just kind of have a laugh, and I think if I'm happy out there and trying one step at a time, and that's kind of my kind of philosophy behind it, I guess. But like, I think less is more. Like, less you think out there, the more you can run. So, but yeah, I think concussion has definitely been a big impact on where I'm at today. In the early journeys of my trail running.
So are you planning? Sorry, go Dave.
No, Kelvin, you go. No, you're right.
So now it's sort of like the trail running is what you focus on, right, Brendan? Like, so do you have any plan to sort of like get back to footy or not? Like, you're not gonna touch it anymore.
Nah. So like, I remember getting one knock. Like, I tried coming back, during, when I felt pretty recovered, and I just think like it's not worth it anymore. And I've actually liked trail running so much. Trail running is my thing now. But I love football still. Like, I still like, my sister plays footy for Fremantle Dockers in the AFLW. So like, still like love women's sport. I actually coached a women's team in Alice Springs, which is cool. Indigenous women's club called El Camellia Panthers. So that was like, I still love being in the space and like giving, being a part of it in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, trail running's the best. So that's the best sport now.
Well, but on that, and we touched on it earlier though, like the difference between being in that team environment and then being on the trail on your own. I mean, Kelvin's asked that question there about your own headspace, but while you're running. But yeah, what are the key differences between that team environment and then being on your own out on the trails?
Yeah, that's a really good question, man. I still like to use trail running as a team sport in a way, like those like Friday fella runs, the Thursday nights with Shane. I think like if I kind of isolate myself a bit too much, I'd probably go like, what's going on? Like, I just feel like I like to be around people. But again, I do like the balance of like my own kind of experience in the trails, that just to be out in nature on my own. So two completely different lifestyles, I guess, but you're still running in both sports. So I just love running, but it's different kind of running. But I guess I like team sport. You got to be committed. Like, you got to buy into like the training and the time. Where like you can kind of be your own coach in this kind of space. Like, you have a bit more freedom where you can, I can train in the morning before work, or get a gym session in when I can, or if you don't feel like running today, you don't have to, where footy training, you got to rock up or you won't play. I do love being around team sports. I think like when you're all in together on one mission to achieve something, it's pretty special. That's something that I've got, close mates the rest of my life that in that space. So I want to kind of create that kind of journey in trail running as well, like such a kind of community of people in one vision, like not to win a race or like, it doesn't have to be like that, but to tackle, that whole journey together through training and even just support crewing. And I actually crewed my friend Piotr the Transcend, and like that was my first time I ever crewed. And I was like, whoa, how cool is this?
It's like,
like that's still trail running to me. Like that's a part of it. Like, helping people, and so there's still that team feel in trail running. And I'd love to do the relay one. I haven't done that yet, but that's something that would be really cool. And I think you really bond, like even with like people that you're running out there. I've still got I did the 100K at BTU, and me and this other guy were in front, and we were like just chatting all day, like getting to know each other. We're like, is this like, it didn't really feel like a competitive race when we probably should have been a bit more competitive, but like, it was just like, we just got to know each other, and we're still like pretty much like best mates today, like after getting to know each other on the trail. So like the people you meet throughout, a 100-kilometer run throughout the day and help, I think that's pretty rare to find in another sport.
Oh, I say it all the time on the finish line when I'm commentating there. When people cross the line, it's clear sometimes, and I say it at the beginning, we're a community, we're a trail-loving community, but you can see it, people cross the line together, and you know that they've never met each other before. But they've just spent whatever the distance is running together, sharing everything. And I mean, I've been in that environment myself, but sharing everything. And I say it, all jokes aside, I say, like, these guys are best mates forever. Or these, you know, there's a group of women that cross the line together, and look at them all there. And they're all now. And so much of what we do now is about community. And so that was where the question was around sport versus running on your own, because I even see it in my local group as well. We get so many people turning up because it's like, I've been running on my own for so long. I was just lost. But both things take discipline. Both team sport, you mentioned it there a moment ago. You've got to buy into the one vision within the team. But within your own self, you've got to buy into your own discipline to do the training, to do the miles, to do the Ks, to put it under your feet, and, you know, mind versus body versus soul, all those kind of things. But so there's so much that goes into that, and so I see it daily where people are coming because they've been on their own, and now they want to bond within a group because it drags them along, so to speak. It makes them feel welcome, and so that's my next question though. Between what the work you've done now with concussion, obviously out of your own story, and then combine that with some of your own mental health story, and now your love of running and your love of footy, how are you bonding? How's the Play-Doh going and bonding all that together and making something of that? Because, mate, you've got a gift.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, it means a lot. But yeah, I'm still kind of like, I guess like the experience I had in Alice Springs working with Indigenous kids and I guess through the concussion space and doing some public speaking. And now the running, it's all like, I feel like it's all come together and at the right time. And at the moment, I'm doing some personal training back at home, and I just want to I just think when I'm at my best, I just love helping people. So I was a personal trainer before I went to Alice Springs, and I'm teaming up in a mate's business at the moment, just coaching people, and just want to improve my coaching through running as well, and just want to share what I've learned in that space to others who haven't ever even run before, beginner runners, or just to get them out on the trail more. So that's kind of the vision at the moment. But I feel like I took a back step with the public speaking. But when I went to Alice Springs, I thought at the time, I look back and I probably wasn't healed when I was public speaking, because I feel like I just got out of my concussion injury, and then straight away I just started talking about my story, and I felt like I just kept. I don't think I was completely healed, because I kept replaying the past a lot at the time, and since I've been to Alice Springs, I feel like I've just really had an amazing experience out there, and I am feeling like I'm ready to get back in that space whenever the time is right. And this podcast probably is the first step to that, to really share my story and own my story as well, because a lot of people would love to hear it, and hopefully I can inspire one person to if they are suffering or whatever's going on in this crazy world, to just lean on the right people, and if I can get through something like I did, I'm just just a classic Perth kid just running around the bush. Anything's possible if you put your mind to it and surround yourself with the right people. And I'll just love to keep racing and keep inspiring others to stay fit and healthy, and connect with people and be vulnerable, and just don't just be your best version of yourself every day, and lean on others. So I'm excited. I don't really know. I'm still in a bit of an unknown stage with all the concussion kind of running journey, but I'm really enjoying coaching with my personal training and building. Learning a lot about business at the moment, which is really cool. Professionally, I've grown a lot the last 6 months, just leaning on some good mentors in Perth. My coaching, I feel like, is where I'm at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very good, Brendan. Is there anything else that when you look back now, you wish you could have done differently? Like anything that you can think of, like?
I was probably being around the footy club, which I bloody love because I love all the humans. Being in that space, I probably I was drinking a lot of alcohol while playing footy.
Yeah.
And when I had my brain injury, I probably wasn't respecting myself too deeply at the time. Just for a good 6 months there, I was still just, you know, still like being a young fella partying and trying to like hide my, you know, kind of like struggle with the concussion symptoms and mental health symptoms under a rug, I guess, and just like continue to try and just probably not respecting my body through alcohol. So that was probably like the one I look back, but I know everything. There's no regrets in my life. I always look at things at like big, massive learning curves to be a better person every day, and I'll still go through challenges. Like that's just a part of in my journey. I feel like being human is like, you know, you don't like if there's a tough time. I now look at it and go, right, this is a sign for me that I'm going to grow to be, you know, my true self or the next path. And that's probably the main one. And probably just reaching out to my close people quicker. Probably just it took way too long for me to actually really be vulnerable and own up in the space. So they're probably the top two there.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think a lot of people probably have been suffering mental health, and like just sort of keep it to themselves and not really reaching out. Especially, I think to a lot of like ultra runner or trail runner, like we are so resilient. Like in terms of like endure the pain, like you, it's always saying I can get through that by myself. Like that's pretty much most of the time when you do ultra running, like you say, I can get through this. I don't need anyone help, right? Like, but that also is actually also a problem that like if you have any mental health, like if you don't reach out earlier, that may become a more serious later on, potentially. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just thinking that I think as a trail runner or endurance sport, like you have that mindset that like you always try to endure the pain, and probably not so much easy for you to reach out someone, right? Like so, that's something that I sort of observe because unfortunately, there's a couple of my friends they suicide like because of mental health. Like it just like very hard to know they have been suffering. Like you can't. Because this is a normal, like we went mountain biking and then we had a call Zoom chat and then a week later and he's gone. Like, you know, it's very, very difficult. Anyway,
man.
I think that's a good subject that we need to explore in a future Cowbell episode there, Kelvin, because I've been deeply impacted by that within my own family as well, but I think that's a valid point for us as runners, and maybe that was along the lines of questioning Brendan there a little bit earlier, was that we are in our own headspace for a long time, and as you said before, Kelvin, as well, like, you know, ultra trail running, endurance running is as much about your own headspace, and so I think that's a whole new episode, something we can explore there in the future.
Definitely.
Brendan, I've got a couple of things for you. I want to know, well, first of all, you asked me the question. So your actual rating on your ITRA rating, you're in the advanced 2 category and you've got 681 points on the index. So you're up there in the orange section.
Oh,
so,
nice.
You're very well respected, and your results look phenomenal on paper. So that leads me into my next question. What's first up? What's the first race on the agenda for 2025?
Yeah, so there's a race called the Xterra trail running event in Dunsborough in Perth, March 30. And there's actually an Asia Pacific Championship going on like in the event as well, which is pretty cool and it looks exciting. So like really pumped for that one. That's a 42 kilometre south of Perth, probably 2 hours down south. Beautiful country through along the coastline, and So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then there's the Margaret River Ultra as well in May. So that's from Rapid Ascent, the 80 kilometre, which is really I'm really excited for, because I actually watched a mate do that through my concussion, like in 2020 to 21 before I went to Alice, and I was like, how the hell are these crazy guys running 80 kilometres? Like, yeah, it was like the first trail running event I actually seen, and that probably, like, looking back, planted like the seed of the love for trail running. So, like, 3 or 4 years later, where I'm at today with the sport, trying to actually probably start at the front, like, who would have, I never thought I would be starting the front. So it'd be really special to be a part of that. And then not too sure, like, the second half, because it's a bit too far away from me at the moment. At the moment, I'm just like kind of building business through personal training. So, like, the fun finances aren't there yet, so I can't plan too big. I wanted to do UTA, to be honest, but I just didn't have it in me to get over there. And the money side of things at the moment. So I'm just staying local, but there's some amazing local, awesome races, and the Transcend, as I mentioned earlier, through Shane Johnson's event, is in August. So that's something I look to eye off, which is 65k. So they're kind of the three main ones that are up there for me at the moment. So, but who knows what happens? Going forward, hopefully, like, who knows? I'd love to try and run some big races over the East Coast when the time's right. So,
oh mate, you're back in WA. Keep it on that side of the island, will you?
Yeah, it's another country over here.
But I tell you what, I might have to speak to Shane, because I'm yet to break into that side of the country in my own escapades. So maybe we'll maybe make that happen. And here's the next question, but before I'll let Kelvin wrap up here, but and this is completely, we haven't rehearsed this. So as part of the Cowbell, we want to know what your Cowbell moment is. And what that is if you think about the Cowbell, it's often at the finish line where there's hundreds of grommets running around with cowbells, giving commentators PTSD because the cowbells are just going non-stop. But what would you?
Not this one.
Cue the bear bell. So what would be your Cowbell moment?
Sorry, that's as in, like,
a story that would resonate with ringing the cowbell, a story that would ring true for you, so to speak, on a finish line or whatever it might be within a trail run.
Yeah. So probably actually this is a good one, actually. I think it was in 2023 West Max Monster. So I did it in 2022 where I just finished it, and then the next year I lined up again, and I got the Aboriginal boys who I was mentoring at the time to support me and crew me, and I actually remember getting to Simpsons Gap, which is kilometre 42, and I got to the aid station. I'm like, oh, where are they? They're not here. So I had to wait a few minutes till the guys, they come sprinting over all the poles and drinks, and pat me on the back, go Brendo, like, talking a bit of language as well. Like, it was just so cool. And then that inspired me to just keep running. And then we got to the finish line, and all of them were lined up, and they were the cowbells going ding 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 ding, and like high fiving them through, and that's when I won my first. That was my first race that I won, yeah. And they were just like, yeah, we all huddled up and celebrated together, and like, that was just such a special moment for me to just, for them to have, because they don't have too many mentors in their life, and I hope I'm one of them. So, like, hopefully they remember Brendo, who's healthy, cares about his body, and loves fitness, and hopefully they take that small part within their lives that when they grow into adulthood. So that was a massive Cowbell moment for me. Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's awesome. That's so good. Good one to kick off.
Yeah,
nice one. All right, cool. So yeah, Brendan, thank you so much today. I think this is our first Cowbell episode. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, but like it turns out I think it's amazing talking to you and just hearing your story. I mean, it's just, I mean, you can almost make a Netflix story doco, right? You know, you never know. Like you know, they probably need story like this.
Thanks. Just stay grounded and just keep being the best version of myself every day. And
exactly. Yeah.
Inspiring, helping people, and just having fun. That's like, that's the main thing. We got to love what we do and spread positivity and good energy to others and help people throughout the trail running journey. And that's my way of doing it. And who knows, maybe the Cowbell potentially could go on Netflix and we can do it all together. So
yeah,
watch your space.
That's the way.
now you're talking.
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, I think just being extraordinary every day, like, you know, that's sort of like the tagline of Cowbell. Like, especially, I mean, you're thinking about how to help other people. I think that is extraordinary. Yeah, that's very, very good. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Dave.
Cool.
Very good.
Mate, it's been a pleasure. It worked well. We'll record the intro and the outro some other time.
Yep.
But Brendan, awesome to officially get to know you over the chat here, and what a way to hear your story. Pretty incredible, mate. And you've got a good story to tell, and that's what I guess Kelvin's trying to achieve here with the old Cowbell. So, hooray for us!
Hooray!
Thanks, Dave. It'd be good to see you. Hopefully, get over to the west side. So we'll get out and run on the big track in the Perth Hills. So
you're talking.
You're talking.
You can run to East Coast, right, Brendan? Like it's not that far, isn't it? Like
no, that's been done before. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, that's been done before. Yeah, cool. All right, thanks, guys.
Love it, guys.
All right,
good on you, Dave. Appreciate your time, mate. Thanks for good chats, and you too, Kelvin. Appreciate you having me on, and hopefully it's a blast and people love it, and look forward to potentially maybe being on again. But
yep,
it'll just be bigger and better, and you have a hopefully bigger
Cowbell.
Yeah. By number 2.
Yeah, definitely need a bigger Cowbell.
Give it a ring.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. All right, cheers.
All right, good on you guys.